Welcome back to Elden Ring. Now, today's video, we're going to be talking about, well, the open world and who is this big motherfucker here. And also, we have a dude over here. His name is, I think his name is Valeria, I believe. So, two canting required head. So, this is the open world of Elden Ring. You made it through the tutorial, and now you're ready to explore the world of Elden Ring. If you press your map button, which is, you know, your select button on a PS4 controller, you'll see that, oh, the map is... I haven't discovered anything on the map. So, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to, of course, if you haven't already, rest at this grace here, and you can talk to this guy, but he'll tell you that you're maidenless and you can't level up and you're going to die. So, what we're going to do is we're going to head over here to this this church up here, because there's a merchant there that we need to talk to. So first things first is you want to avoid this guy as much as possible because he's a boss and he could kick your teeth in, and this is where most players probably uninstall the game. So you want to jump down here, and you can either crouch or you could just simply walk by. His aggro is he does have quite of a well, he can't really aggro on from over here. So just keep your distance from him. Do not go near that guy because he will definitely kick your teeth in. So, oh yeah, I was meaning to talk about this kind of last episode. So, back to fat rolling. So the reason why you wouldn't want to fat roll is because, well, of one, iframing and also dodging really quick attacks. When you fat roll, you won't have the chance to dodge quicker attacks, which can lead to you getting hit, or, of course, leading to many other hits as well, and also your stamina also refills way slower. So you want to keep the equip load right there at medium equip load as much as possible, due to just one, getting more iframes when you roll, which iframes are basically to where you can dodge an enemy attack, while also you can have your stamina refill a little bit quicker too. So keep that down. So right here we made it to the church past this big horse guy, and let's use this grace over here, which is like bonfires in other Souls games. So, of course, here it tells you can actually fast travel between graces, but of course it tells you that some dungeons and other areas this cannot be done. So, you can always fast travel to these graces up here, and basically you can fast travel anywhere except, of course, the small dungeons that we'll, of course, get into. So, you did earn some runes from the tutorial. Here is Kale over here.
Tarnished. I can see it, and I can also see that you're not after my throat.
Well, of course we're not after your throat. We're not going to kill you, because I'm making a guide here to help the new players out.
Purveyor of fight.
So, of course, you can, recommendation, he tells you of actually buying a crafting kit. So, that's the first thing we're going to buy here. And, of course, here's the shop menu. You can basically buy different things here. So, one of the first things I recommend you buying is, of course, the crafting kit here. Buy this, kind of first off. Also, what you want to do is sell off this Lands Between rune that you have here. So, you earn about 3,000 runes from there if you started off with that item. And also, these cookbooks here, these are basically new recipes for your crafting kit. So, I would recommend buying these too. So, just buy these two up to learn more recipes. Now, you're probably wondering, why are you wasting the runes for? Well, we need more crafting recipes, and also we need more, we also just need to expand our crafting recipe inventory as much as possible, because we don't want to be not crafting things. He also sells you some bow and arrows, so if you did pick one of the classes, such as the, if you did pick, say, the bandit or maybe the samurai, you could buy some arrows here. The telescope is, of course, it could be handy, but at the same time, it's not really that useful, since you can see items from far away. It's nice if you want to see, say, like an area that there's like a boss, like if you're far away from like one of those little mini Erd trees, then you could do that too. But I would recommend just not buying this. It's kind of a waste of money. A torch is handy too for inside of a cave, but you'll find later that there's actually a lamp that you could buy. Early on, I would actually buy the torch just because you won't be running into the lamp. If you are deprived, he does sell you some chain armor. It's not the greatest, but it definitely is some sort of protection. So,
I'm glad you took my warning to heart. You've made an X.
So yep, item crafting. He teaches you how to craft items and also containers. So you have a new tab here called item crafting. Here is, of course, where it tells you have to find different cookbooks to learn more item crafting recipes. So these fire pots, you basically find these cracked containers, which he actually does sell.
What's it?
So he actually does sell 3 cracked pot containers. These are actually used for making, like, say, throwing pots, are what they were called in Dark Souls, fire pots. So you can buy one to make your own fire pot if you want to, but of course there's over here is actually where you can strengthen your armaments. You can't strengthen them very far, especially on this workbench right here, because of course you get one more smithing zone. You will eventually run into an area which I think the level up lady does take you to, where you can strengthen up your armaments even more. So here, of course, you can strengthen your armaments up to +3 at a smithing table. However, in the lands between, you'll meet a blacksmith who can help make your armaments even stronger. Of course, this is where the game hints you that, yeah, you're going to run into a different blacksmith, and here he can level up your stuff even more. So the reason why you would want to level up item is because, well, you get more damage, and also the weapon also scales higher too. So we need to also cover weapon scaling, about how each weapon scales differently depending on their attributes. So as you can see here with the longsword attribute scaling, it's a D scaling in strength and D scaling in dex, which means the higher your dexterity and your strength, of course, levels there, say where you see the character status, the higher that level is, the more it will basically scale accordingly with your weapon. So if you want to have, like, say, if you actually have a weapon that's S in dex, and you have a high dex, basically level, the attack power kind of at the end there where it says 110 and then it says 15, that number at the end will be way higher because, of course, that's more scaling for your dex. But we also mentioned previously that if you two-hand a weapon, the scaling goes higher since you'll be dealing more damage. That scales, I think, with the strength attribute. So if you two-hand a weapon, you can have more strength scaling for the weapon. But for now, we'll be sticking with kind of just the sword here. You can also use the halberd here, but it does give you a heavy load, which means you're going to have to probably remove the shield. So we'll stick with the sword and shield just for now, because that's what most people are probably going to stick with. So yeah, let's go find some enemies to kill, shall we? So right here, you just want to head kind of right here, and then over here you have some items that you can pick up. Anything that's not nailed down to the ground, say an item that's kind of like sticking out, pick up everything you see, just because of the amount of stuff in the crafting recipes that you're going to run into. Just pick up everything you see. Don't leave anything behind. I know it's tedious, but you're going to have to do that. Just do it. Just make sure you're just picking up everything you see as possible, because you don't want to leave anything behind or you know, not be able to craft something. So if you're walking around, you're probably wondering, where do I go? So I'll tell you where you could actually go. So right over here, you could actually run into a small dungeon here. If you head up here, and then if you head, I think it's over... Yeah, it's over here. There's actually a small dungeon that you could go to and actually fight against some enemies. But I would actually recommend you actually getting the bonfire basically for the dungeon here. So finding the bonfire first and actually getting the dungeon will allow you to, of course, just travel to that dungeon at any time. So of course you have some enemies right here. These are basically kind of like the ghouls from Dark Souls, or they have a torch. They do a small little torch attack. So just like in the tutorial section, just kill these guys, make quick work with them. And there you go. Once he does that, he'll actually drop an item. So you could pick up an item, and sometimes they'll drop their weapon, or maybe they'll drop their armor. So this, of course, when an item will drop, this scales with your arcane. So if you go back to status, arcane is basically where it's your discovery. So the higher your arcane is, the more you can actually discover items that drop off the ground. There's also certain items that also scale with arcane as well, like certain spells, or hell, even weapons. So make sure you do, of course, keep that into consideration. If you want to find more items on the ground, scale with arcane. But if you kind of just want to buy some items, because I know most people, they like to buy items from different merchants and stuff, you can just do that. But for the sake of this video, we're going to be leveling up as much of things as possible, just because. See, look, we're actually finding, these guys actually do drop some items, so kill whoever. Make sure to kill every enemy you see. You don't want to be running through any enemy because of course, dropping items. So the tutorial thing that showed there is if you vanquish an enemy group, you'll actually replenish your pots here, your stamina and your health pots. So clearing an enemy group, you'll automatically get these back. But sometimes, of course, when you do clear certain groups, say there's like you're inside of like a dungeon or whatever, those pots will not refill. Only if you're in the open world, say you clear a camp or maybe you clear enemies around here like I just did, that is when your pots will refill. So keep that in consideration. And also, just make sure you're picking up everything too. Like I said, there's birds over here that give bones and feathers. Those are good for arrows. So sneak up on these birds or run at them, what have you. And there you go. You have one of his feathers. So make sure you're hunting, taking care of things, just grabbing any item you see. So we have a dungeon actually right here. This actually leads to one of the first bosses that you actually fight, since every dungeon actually has a boss that you can fight up against. So we could go in there, or we could go to where we actually go and find the level up lady. I would recommend actually opening this up first, and then kind of try getting the bonfire or the grace first, then of course going and heading towards one of the first areas to find the level up lady. So just hit the catacomb right here, this grace, and then run out. Just because we need to have and discover these locations, because we're going to come back later to them. It's always nice to do this just because if you do want to say you're getting your ass kicked by a boss and you want to come back to a location later, you could always fast travel to that instead of just walking the whole distance away. This is, of course, nice just because of, well, like I said earlier, it's nice to fast travel everywhere since you're not wasting time walking around everywhere, or hell, even getting the horse, which we will get, of course, later. These enemies up here, they spit poison, so there's different status effects in the game, so I'll actually demonstrate here. So these guys are pretty weak. You can just smack against them, and you see right there that they actually stagger. So when you hear a certain sound cue, the enemy will stagger, and then there is where you can actually do a critical hit on them. So I'll show. So do a jump attack. Say you're doing a jump attack, and see, look, this little area right here, go up to that, and then you can actually do a critical hit. Since I was too late, the enemy automatically just kind of he recovered from it. So when you are killing an enemy and they do stagger, they can recover from being staggered. So keep that in mind. Some enemies recover from being staggered a lot more quicker than others. So just know that. Okay, we have two enemies up here. You can either sneak up to these guys and kill them, or like I'll just backstab this guy. And there we go. He actually dropped an item. And there we go. He actually dropped some of his bolts. So if you have a crossbow, that can come in handy. These enemies will, of course, if you do have your arcane up high enough, they will always drop something. So keep that in mind. They sometimes can drop their weapons, sometimes they can drop their armor, and other times they can just drop their some ammo or something that they have on them. You see there's an item over here. An item is represented by something that's glowing white, so if you are to pick up an item, it will be, I think, sometimes it'll be runes, sometimes it'll be weapons, and other times it'll just be important items you need. So let's sneak up to this guy and take him out. There we go. And over here, actually, we have some throwing weapons. So you want to hit your equipment bar and head down here. This is where you can use quick items. So if you actually equip these in quick items, these are throwing items that you can actually use. So if I were to press, say, X here, or square if you're on PlayStation, see, look, I can actually throw that item at him. So let's actually get a good view of him. That will actually throw that item at him and actually lead him to us. So it's good for kind of kiting enemies away from yourself, so you can actually take them on one by one instead of taking them on a group. So it's good. It's good to keep that in mind, because throwing items are kind of what you need to kind of just take down enemy groups, because you don't want to be taking down everybody all at once, because that can risk you, of course, getting killed. Also, these rune fragments here, you can actually use these for crafting, but you can also throw these at an enemy too. So if you have a lot of these, you can just go, and throw them at them. These are very similar to the pebbles if you have played Bloodborne before. They'll do really low damage. You can actually use these and kite an enemy to you, so make sure you keep that in mind. Always lock on to as well when you are attacking, because you never want to unlock from something, because one, dodging enemy attacks easier, and also just you also just want to keep that in mind, because you always want your attacks to land. So of course up here we ran into an actual cave, so here we'll be fighting off against some beast, and actually a beast boss that's actually up here. He is a stronger boss, so keep that in mind. He is a bit strong, especially early on. And over here is actually where you can summoning pools. So if you need help in a boss, you could actually examine these summoning pools, and you could actually equip a certain item, and then you can see, say, a golden summon right here, where you can summon other players to help you. Or say if you're in, you can also summon your friends too. So keep that in mind. This is how the game does co-op. It's kind of restrictive in that manner of how the co-op is done, but honestly, it's kind of, this is the system and it's always used. There is a mod that's called Seamless Co-op, which allows completely freeform co-op, which I think most players would be interested in, but for now, we're just going to be talking about the base game. We're not going to be talking about mods or anything like that, so make sure you keep that in mind, that this series is all about just the base game. It's not about modding your game or, getting the most performance out of your game. It's more or less just about the base game. So here is the first big camp in the game, and right here you can actually find, there's 2 weapons that you can actually find. You see these chariots over here. You see 2 of them, this one and then that one over there. Those actually can house some weapons in a chest. So keep that in mind. You can find different chariots around the world that actually house some items in them. Say a weapon. The 2 items that are actually up here is a heavy sword and then a flail. So this guy right over here, he sees that he's actually on me. So how you actually kite him to you is you just throw an item at him, and there we go. Now he's going to run at you. So you want to kite as many enemies away from the group as possible, just because. And also he has a spear, so wait for him to attack and then go in and attack yourself. You can also bait their attacks too. If you actually attack their spear, that will actually make the AI actually attack you first, so you can go in and block it or parry it if you can. So you see, like, there's 2 enemies up here, and there's also a dog right over there. So dogs are quite a dangerous enemy, especially early on. But what we're actually going to do is we're going to be sneaking around these guys. So like I said earlier, there's a sneak button. If you press the left stick, you could sneak around. This is good just because you want to be avoiding a lot of these early enemies early on, because they can completely destroy you, especially the captain right up here. The captain is represented basically by his armor type. So he is wearing more advanced armor than these guys, and he is harder to kill. So you can either head to this grace over here and, of course, get the level up lady, which we're actually going to be doing. So you just want to just run over here, and we're going to be taking these guys down a little bit later. So what we need to do is we need to head over here, and actually we'll get Melina, which will allow us to level up, and she'll give us our horse as well, which allows us to travel faster. So here it actually initiates a cutscene. Of course, for video's sake, we are going to skip the cutscene, and then we are going to skip the dialogue. She tells you that she can level you up and even give you, see, look. She tells you that you need to take her to the foot of the Erd Tree, which is basically the capital city in the game. So make sure you accept it. Do not deny it. So she gives you a ring that allows you to summon Torrent, which is a magical horse. So here you can also level up as well. So there's a level up tab, which you can spin runes to increase your attributes. So your level will increase by 1 after every 1. Melina, shut up! Okay, after telling Melina to shut up. So you see each one of these attributes raises depending on what it is. So Vigor is your health. As you raise this, you'll get more health points. Mind is basically your mana or your FP. Endurance is stamina, but it also increases your maximum equip load. So if you want to carry more, like say more heavier items, then you could definitely do that too. Strength increases, well, of course, strength and weapon attack power in case you two-hand a weapon. Dexterity also increases weapon attack power too, since the scaling in those weapons. Intelligence actually is for spells. Intelligence and faith, these are basically the same thing. They are basically for spells and some items in the game, or some swords that scale with intelligence, so keep that in mind. And arcane is item discovery. It also increases the some blood or arcane spells as well. So the first thing that I would actually recommend you putting your first point into is actually stamina. Just because you can have more of it and you can attack more often, it also increases your equip load more often too. So put 1 point into stamina just because. And there we go. Now it's nighttime. And she even teaches you how to horseback ride. So, and last episode I actually taught you how to use pouches, which is where you can store items in. So what I actually do over here is, if you do press the start button, or the 3-line button on Xbox controller, I don't know why it's labeled 3 lines. You can actually go over here and put what I like to do is I actually like to put torrent on the bottom one here, and then I actually put the other flask over here. So as you can see, once we hold down Y, we can actually just use these items really quickly, and we don't have to scroll through at the bottom here just to find the item we need. So always do that, just because it allows you to get your healing items quicker and just be more efficient when it comes to finding items and stuff like that. So over here, we're actually going to be finding our first two weapons in the game. It's going to be a heavy sword and also a flail. A flail scales really well with dex, so if you are a dex player, you can actually use the flail. It is a powerful weapon. I think it is. It's a really fast-paced weapon. It does low damage, but it does dish out damage really quickly. Feel it. So now he's coming over to us. Bait his attacks out first. There we go. Jump up here, and in here we'll actually need the flail. Open up the chest here, and there we go. We have a flail. As you see that X there, that means that we cannot use that weapon. But you can use it, but you'll be doing way less damage with it. So, what we actually need is 18 dex to actually use this weapon properly. So keep that in mind. When you find a weapon, you can either increase your stats up to use that weapon properly. So if you see a weapon that you like, you could actually level up and put those stats into that weapon so you can scale with it and do the proper damage with it. So, oh, shit, he saw us. And make sure you bait. Make sure you lock on, bait out his attacks first. Wait for him to attack first, and then go in. These are basic enemies, so they won't have any crazy attacks or anything like that. Just bait his attacks first. You never want to be trying to be overly aggressive with enemies, because that can risk you being killed. So make sure you're sneaking around. There's also a heavy greatsword, which we're actually not a heavy greatsword, but just a two-handed sword that we can actually equip. So this is good for this class. So this guy right over here, we could just throw a thing at him and bait him. So that's actually what we're gonna do. Throw this at him. Make sure he comes to you, away from everyone else, so you can take him easily. You could also use your shield too to. So what you do is, oh shit, use your shield, and then you can do a guard counter right there. Guard counter, and there we go, he's down. So, hit first. Sometimes their attacks are way quicker. Hit first so they baits out their shield, then go in for the attack. That's probably the best thing to do. So, up here, we'll get our two-handed sword, our great sword. So yeah, there we go. And it shows X here since we can't use this weapon properly, but it shows us that if we actually wield the weapon with two hands, now we can use the proper damage for that, since the scaling scales with strength. So if you're 2 points, say, under a strength requirement, you can actually just two-hand the weapon to use it properly. So since we're heavy load, we are going to remove the shield since we could be down to medium load. So now we can run around with this two-handed weapon and we can do jump attacks and stuff like that. It's a way more powerful weapon, and it is quite good. So if you want to use the shield still with the greatsword, you definitely can, but your attack, see, look, your attack's a little bit different, since depending on what two arms that you actually hold the weapon, your attacks will be different. So as you can see that, if you have it one arm, he's going to be doing this attack. He's going to be kind of slashing it. So if you are in, say, like a pickle, or maybe you're in like a these light attacks will do that, and then of course the heavy attacks will just do the slash here. So we're going to be two-handing this weapon here, since it is probably the best strength weapon early on, just because of how powerful it is. And it will, of course, attack a lot slower, so keep that in mind. If you do like the quickness of the light sword, you can always switch to that sword and then use the shield if you are relying on the shield as a crutch. But since for tutorial sake, I'll show you the kind of how the great sword actually functions here. So we have a sheep over here. They drop bones, and my controller decided to disconnect on me. As you can see, my game decided to stutter because of trying to reconnect the controller. That is one thing that these Souls games have, is that when your controller disconnects, you'll run into extremely high stutter, since your Windows likes to scan things pretty much at the same time, which it's constantly scanning things to detect if there's a controller there, and that's what causes the stutter. So walking around over here, we're going to be kind of just walking around. We have two bats over here, so you can just slash these two bats if you want to. Do jump bat, hit that bat, there you go. So The best attack to actually do in a jump attack is a jump heavy attack with this weapon, just because of how powerful it is, and also you could break their poise much easier, so you could go in for those critical kills, or those critical hits. Sneaking around, grabbing an item here, and of course you have a camp of enemies here. These guys are really tough early on, so we could actually craft some throwing weapons at them. So thin beast bones, you can get those from killing sheep or different animals over here. So what we're actually gonna do is actually kill the sheep. Come here, you fucking sheep. Come here, you fucking sheep. Yeah, be careful, because this sheep is gonna run you right into this fucking enemy right here. So, hello sheep. God damn it, you didn't drop anything. So, yep. Hopefully these birds drop some small bones here, so let's go up here and to these birds here. Smack them right in the fucking face. There we go. We got a foot, and we also got a flight thing there. So these glowing items right here are rune fragments, so just grab these as much as possible. Just mash triangle or Y or just to pick up items. Alright, dropped an item over here. There we go. Got some feathers. So this is actually an NPC that you can run into. This guy is actually a monkey. So if you hear him, try to get as close as you can as possible, and then
you there.
You hear him talking?
Pretending you can't see me.
He's actually this tree right here. So go. There we go. And there's the NPC.
What for? Oh yes, some clod turned me into a tree. You were just brave. Thank you. I was pushed out of the.
So he's probably the first NPC that you'll run into. Well, besides the merchant, of course, and of course, the dude at the very beginning. So he will give you 10 mushrooms just for helping him out. He also tells you about a cave at the end of the river over here. So over here, there's actually a cave of beasts that you can go in, that you can fight. So since we actually do have the level up lady, we can actually go back to these caves over here. So the first cave we'll probably go to is the roadside one. Just because, make sure you fast travel there. Always use fast travel, just because you don't want to be walking the whole distance there, wasting time. So, as you can see, cave is really dark. Let's equip our torch in the other hand, and there we go. Now we can see. So, since this weapon's going to be so low damage, we're going to be equipping just the light sword here, just because. There's also dogs in here too, so dealing with dogs is definitely going to be fun. Since, of course, we have one dog there, and then we have a dog down here. This is where we can actually do a plunging attack. So if you fall down and then press the heavy attack button. Okay, you failed. Ow! Ow! I always hate these dogs. See, look. This is the alpha male dog since his health. Ow. Come here, dog. Oh, and the dog killed me! Okay. So, that's probably what's going to happen to most people. They'll probably end up getting killed by the dogs. Of course, I will, because I hate dogs in these games. And also me trying to commentate at the same time. It's distracting myself, too. So, as you can tell, when you die, you actually drop your runes over there. So, those runes go away if you do die again. So, keep that in mind. So, if you do say you die once, your runes will drop there with a yellow thing. But if you die again, those runes are now lost forever. So what I was actually going to do is a plunging attack. So fall down, press the heavy attack button, and there we go. We'll do a plunging attack. See, look, I'm taking my own advice into accord. I'm not fucking attacking them in groups. Oh, I'm trying to attack them in groups. Ooh. Ooh. There's also a boss down here. I don't know if I want to fight the boss. Nope. 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 Get away from me, you fucking smelly shits. Grab the items. This is very bad. This is very, very bad. There's an item down here. Let's grab the runes and grab the cracked pot. Oh god. Ow, you fuck. This is very bad. Do not do this. Don't take advice from me that I'm doing. Oh shit, I'm at like so low health. One more attack will kill me. Heal. Oh my god, I healed as soon as he hit me. Run. The dogs will chase you so much. Okay, we're running out of healing items to fight this boss too, so Alright, there's a boss up here. Immediately clip the two-hand sword because this guy's gonna be tough. So anyway, boss right here, fighting him. He will do that kind of that big slash attack there, and then he'll do that. His attacks are quite slow, so if you want to predict those, you could also backstab him too. So you'll roar and then do those two attacks, and then out of the way. Make sure you are learning boss patterns, because bosses do have patterns and attacks that they can do, so you can actually exploit these patterns. So you see it, that charge attack, he's going to do a massive lunge, and then that both attack too, so do a jump attack. You can always go in for 1 or 2 attacks and then come out just to learn their pattern. It is tedious, yes, but it is the kind of the combat in this game. And also you can stagger some bosses' animations out too, since we have a great sword, we can actually stagger his animation. Oh, did that. And there we go. Do that heavy attack. There we go. Since it made that sound effect, and we actually broke his poise, so that allows us to go in for that big attack. So let's do it again. This guy is really easy to stagger. That's why the two-handed sword is so good, since we can stagger him twice. Ooh. There we go. Okay. See, look. Go in for 1 attack, then step back, since he's going to do that roar attack, and then he's going to do all these other attacks. Just stand back. Go in. He's dead. And there you go. Always utilize jump attack as much as you can with this weapon, just because it's so good to jump attack and then break a boss's poise with it. So what he actually dropped us was a talisman. It actually boosts fire negation, so we'll take less fire damage. When you're in a cave, you can touch this entrance here. It will actually warp you right back to the entrance, so make sure you always find that, since you don't have to retrace your steps and go all the way out the cave. There we go. We're right outside the cave here. And there we go. The bot. Also, when you do Arrest of the Grace, remember the enemies will respawn, so keep that in mind. This is also how you can farm enemies too as well, since you could kill the same enemies over and over just to farm the same stuff over and over. So we're actually going to go back to this cave over here, so we can just travel straight there, head back to that cave. There we go, right back at the catacombs. So you could rest here and level up. That's exactly what we're going to do. And now we have a lot of level ups that we can do. The next point that I would actually probably level up is strength, so you can actually one-hand that weapon. So put 2 points in the strength so you can one-hand the weapon. And then you could equip your shield, but you will be at heavy load. So if you are heavy load, you can, say, take off your helmet, and then you can two-hand the weapon. There we go. Now we can two-hand the weapon and use the shield, since we took off our helmet. But it isn't ideal to do that, since you are losing some damage resistance. So just two-hand the weapon and remove your shield. That's probably what I'm going to do here. These are I think these shadows of guys who have passed away, so rest in peace. So up here you have a lot of enemies these are a lot where a lot of players have died. There's actually, I think, 2 enemies. There's one right here, and then I think there's another one over here. Nope. There's one right here, and then there's another one right over here. So look, they can ambush you. So what I actually do for these guys is you can actually throw something at them. So the rune fragment that we actually do have, we can just throw those right at them. So this guy over here, we can just throw a rune fragment at him. So just go, shit. Or we can actually bait this guy out first. So bait him out. See, look. His attacks also do bleed, so if it does build up, you'll take a massive hunk out of your health. So, see, look, our heavy weapon's doing so much poise damage. So now we can run in and kill this guy. Look how good that heavy weapon is. It is so fucking good, especially for early on. It's probably the best weapon you'll be using early on, just because of how good it is. I can remove that health thing right there. Oh yeah, over here, these are where you can pick these up. You can level up your ashes, or whatever they're called. These where you can actually summon in these little things in to help you fight a boss battle, or maybe clear out a dungeon for you. So this guy up here, he'll sit there and probably just throw things at you. There's also another guy up here. So what you could do is just run right straight through these guys, or wait for him to drop down. Then take this guy down. There you go. Out and do something down. There's also some more grave things, so you can level up your ashes, whatever. So make sure you grab everything that's not nailed down, since we're going to be using this to craft as many things as we possibly can. Since, make sure you use every item in your environment. Over here, there's actually an enemy right over here that we can kill. So we do a jump attack and go, yeah. There we go. And a jump attack again. There we go, he's dead. And now this fire over here, this is where timing is going to be really important. Let's actually heal first. Okay, not now. So wait for the fire to go away. This is going to be using timing. So you can also shoot that thing too. Run, go, 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 go. Oh, we barely got there. All right. Next one. Run, 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 run. Oh, we made it. So yeah, go up this ladder. Make sure you time everything as much as possible, especially in this dungeon down here, just because you don't want to get out into an open into that fire and take a large chunk of damage and just die. So. Alright, we have enemy up here, and then we have, if you go grab another one right here, so you could kill the guy over here, so that's exactly what we do. Just kill him. He won't actually aggro until now, so run over to him, jump attack, and dead. That's it. Took care of him. There's also another enemy up here, and I think there's also a thing that triggers at the bottom, so he will throw shit at you, just because he's a bastard and he likes to throw things at you. So yep. There's also 2 enemies I think will spawn out here too, so make sure you just get them as far away as you can from each other, just because you don't want to be fighting a whole group of enemies. Mistake I did with the dogs. So he'll just keep throwing things at you. You can also kind of hide right here and he'll stop and try to walk in front. Since he is by himself, we're just gonna go in. There we go. Look over here, see if there's enemy here. Look over here, no enemy there. Grab that. Also grab the item over here. Summoning spirits. This is where we can actually summon in some guys to help us out. And you can always put these summons right here. Since we don't have the, the music box or whatever to summon, then my cat is scratching at my door. So we'll kill this boss first, and then we'll, of course, wrap the video up. Just because my cat is a bastard. So roll down there. There's also an enemy that likes to hide out right here. I think he'll actually just come out as soon as you hit that lever, so just kill him. There we go, he dead. Remember, jump attacks, best thing to do with this weapon. There we go. Fall down, rock the base, and he's over here. Just kill this guy. Yeah! Yeah! There we go, he dead. And now what we can do, since we actually opened up those 2 doors over there, we can just head back to the Grace and rest up so we can have all our healing items prepared for the boss battle. And then we can level up again. So next thing I'll probably level up is endurance as well, since we can have more stamina, and we can also have more points in the equip load. So can we actually use the shield now? We can, look at that. We put another point in endurance, now we can walk around with the shield and the heavy sword. So yeah. There you go. Now you can use 2 in 1. Early on, I'd probably recommend using a shield, but if you are going to be two-handing a weapon, just make sure you use dodgers. This first watchdog guy here, he's a dog, and he does have some delayed attacks, so he'll come at you and do a little sword swipe. You see that? His attack is very delayed, so just dodge out of the way if you can. Wait for him to do that plunge attack, and then go in. Smack. Dodge out of the way. Smack. Ow, I dodged way too late. I also dodged a little late there, so yeah, dodge back, because he'll do that little tail swipe there with his fire. So he's gonna keep doing that plunge attack, I think, for a long, since you're holding back, he's gonna keep doing that plunge attack. So he'll do it twice again. And then you can just smack. He's gonna spawn some fire, run away from the fire. There you go. So it's all about patience, learning a boss patterns. You don't want to rush things because that can lead to your death. He'll do that. Delayed attack, jump attack again. Another one. And I think he'll try to do it again. Oh, he'll try to do that. Yep. I forgot he could do that. See, look, he's changing up his tactics. And you can go in and whack. Oh, dodge way too late. way too late to get heal. Sometimes they will actually attack you if you're healing, like he is doing now. So look, delayed attack, smack in, step back, and look, now he's going to start using fire to his advantage now. He's going to start doing this little fire attack, just hold back. Now, kind of just be patient with this guy, don't be intimidated by him, just be patient. See, look, try to bait out as much of those attacks as much as possible. So look, dodge to the right, he'll do a circle attack, dodge twice. We're also going to be utilizing iframes too as well, so just be patient with the boss. Don't try to rush things. This isn't a speed running challenge like some other people. Just take your time, be patient, try to bait out his attacks as much as possible. Use dodging to your advantage. There we go. Go for a big attack. Ow! He hit me. It's okay to take a few hits. Of course, he's going to do that delayed attack. Jump, do a jumping attack, and now he'll do that, of course, that plunge attack. So just be patient. This is where to attack. Ow, he attacked me there. Ooh, okay, heal. Oh, he's gonna do this 3 times, so we'll do that. And then the last one is where we'll attack. Smack. Roll back twice, roll there, and then smack. He's dead. There you go. It's all about patience. Patience, timing, and also where to dodge, where not to dodge, when to attack, when not to attack. So that's pretty much learning bosses. A lot of bosses will be more advanced than that, so reading their attacks is definitely going to be a lot more difficult. So if we were heavy load, the iframes would probably be way worse. So dodging into certain attacks, you get basically something called iframes, where you can just avoid the attack. Sometimes you won't get iframes and you'll be hit by an attack, or it'll hit you from behind, which happens sometimes too. So since we completed that first boss and we got a lot of runes from that, we could probably use that to level up, or we can go back and buy an item too. So we can use this to level up again. So I probably would level up. You can either level up strength or dex, which I probably, for since the sake of video's sake, we'll just put another point into stamina. Or into endurance, just because we want to have extra stamina so we can do more attacks. So do that, have extra stamina, do more attacks. Since you're doing such good damage right now, there's no real point of actually putting in strength right now. When we'll actually put strength is and when we start actually getting bigger and better weapons. So the castle just up here is where we'll start getting some strength items. So next episode we'll probably be covering. There's also dynamic weather. It's nice. It looks nice. So next episode we'll probably go in and we'll be doing some, since this episode is quite long, we're going to be going back into the, we'll be going back to where that group of enemies is, where we actually met the level up lady. We'll go back there and we'll pick up a map piece, which I'll tell you how that works. And then we'll actually make our way around the map and we'll be heading towards, we could either head to the castle first, or we could go a different path and actually prepare ourselves for the castle fights, since you want to be doing that first, since you don't want to be taking on the big boss head on and basically be under-leveled for him and not deal that much damage or just die to it. So anyway, hope you guys enjoyed it, because I sure as hell enjoyed it. I enjoyed making it and just teaching you guys how to play the game. This was actually a video idea from someone, as I said before, so if you like the game, please let me know, because I sure as hell liked playing it. So anyway, hope you all enjoyed. SmartFag87, signing out.